Hey, Steve Saretsky here. I just want to put together a quick video on how much do Vancouver real estate prices increase per year. So I just wrote a blog post about this on my website. You can go check that out, www.vancitycondoguide.com. Look that up. So basically, I think this is actually, the numbers aren't as high as people might expect. So what is the return on your investment for Vancouver real estate? How much should you expect prices to increase each year? So obviously a pretty important thing to know if you're looking at an investment or even your primary residence. How much is it going to go up? What's your expected return? So what I did is I looked at the last 10 years for Vancouver real estate prices using the real estate board's benchmark price, and I used the areas that were covered is all of real estate board of Greater Vancouver, so that's what's considered Metro Vancouver. So they're all kind of grouped in there together. Obviously it's a little bit vague, but for the most part it should paint you an overall picture. Certain areas will increase more than others, but for the most part this should give you a pretty good generalization. So basically over the last 10 years, from January of 2006 to January of 2016, 10 years, prices for single family detached homes have increased. I think it's 8.7, is it 8? Yeah, 8.7% per year. And I think that's actually, pretty good. We had a small dip in 0809 thanks to the financial crisis, which for the most part we avoided. Prices only dropped 11%. Mostly due to obviously government intervention, dropping the interest rates, and at that time they actually then turned it up to 40-year amortization rates. So that kind of kept the market from going much lower than it should have. And then prices jumped back up thanks to the 2010 Olympics here in Vancouver. So again, that kind of helped. So I think overall over the last 10 years we've actually had a very healthy market, and it's probably better than it should have been, given all the factors. So 8.7% for single detached homes. Just to give you an idea where we're at right now in the market, these numbers over the last 2 years have been, last year was 25%. I think this year we're on pace for about 23%. So these kind of returns are, astronomical. They're not normal, so if you're buying on appreciation today, do not expect those kind of returns. 8.7 is where it's at. I would expect, obviously, the market's correcting right now, so I think even in the next couple of years to expect 8.7% is probably not going to happen. It's going to be much lower than that. But overall, if you're holding the long term, 10 years, probably around 8.7 is where it should be. Townhouses, 5% on average is how much they've increased over the last 10 years. Prices have gone up 5%. Condos is at 4.7% over the last 10 years. So on average, you should expect your condo to go up about 4.7%. Again, that's, there's obviously lots of ups and downs over the years. For the most part, we've had a pretty stable, I think, one of the only dips is in 0809, and then for condos and townhouses, I think we had a slight dip in 2012. So, for the most part, single family homes 8.7%, townhouses 5%, condos 4.7%. Those are your kind of expected returns that I would bank on if you're holding long-term 10 years. Again, that can dip. I would expect that, we're seeing a correction right now. It has to happen at some point, whether, who knows how much it goes, but to expect these kind of returns that we're having right now, single family homes at 20%, townhouses at 20%, condos at 15%, those are totally unrealistic. I would expect them to get back down to normal levels over the coming years, but I certainly think that as of right now, we're on pace for a bit of a correction here. It's hard to say how much, but it has to be expected when you have these astronomical returns over the last 2 years. There has to be some kind of correction. So, but long term, those are the numbers that you should be expecting. All right. Hope this helped. Thanks.